January 1st, 1968. Just another New Year's Day. But an interesting fact about this day is that a law went into effect that would begin a string of controversy for the next 50 years and beyond. On January 1st, 1968, the first federal seatbelt regulation went into effect. Title 49, Chapter 301, U.S. Code Motor Vehicle Safety Standard, then required that all motor vehicles be fitted with seatbelt restraints in all standard seating positions. So what began as a means to save and protect our lives spiraled into a controversy over the question, do seatbelts save lives or take lives? For me, the answer is clear. Seatbelts save lives. But for many, and maybe some of you listening today, that same sentiment does not ring true. I'd like to share with you today some statistics behind seatbelt use and regulation, and how both can have effect on our lives and the lives of our loved ones. In a 2017 article by David Wexler from the OneMinuteMind.com website, David found that some individuals were citing the 13th Amendment as an argument against seatbelt regulation. For those of you not aware, the 13th Amendment prohibits the ownership of a human being. Now, that sounds like an extreme case, and I think it is an extreme case against the argument of seatbelt regulation. But the concept of it is that those individuals feel that the government should not have say or be able to dictate how they manage the privacy of their actions in their own car for the purpose of their own safety. So I understand the point. But what are some more common reasons why people choose not to buckle up? Airbags. Many people feel that in the presence of airbags, seatbelts are just not necessary. SUVs and pickup trucks. The fact that they're so big gives some the impression that they're safer than smaller vehicles. Therefore, when you're driving in those larger trucks, seatbelts aren't necessary. Sinking or entrapment by fire, being buckled in and not being able to get out is another reason, or two other reasons why people choose not to buckle up. And then there are those that feel that being ejected from a vehicle is better than remaining inside the vehicle during a collision. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, in 2015, 80% of passengers or vehicle occupants ejected from vehicles during a collision were killed. That's 80% dead. The NHTSA also stated that 60% is the amount of reduced fatality when vehicle occupants wore their seatbelts in 2015. 0.5%, that's 0.5% of all vehicle incidents involve submersion or entrapment by fire. But these are just statistics, right? We're human beings, we're people. So let's look at the human side of things. What happens to the human body during a collision? In a January 2015 excerpt from an article published on drivesafely.com, If a vehicle is traveling 60 miles an hour, the occupants inside that vehicle are also traveling at 60 miles an hour. But of course, we don't feel like we're moving that fast. We're chatting with our passengers, we're singing along to whatever's on the radio, we're having our coffee, pretty much going through the standard routine of driving. A few miles down the road in the opposite direction, there's a driver of an 18-wheeler doing pretty much the same thing. He's just about done with his shift, he's almost out of hours, and he's very eager to get home and see his family. So he decides to push through. He wants to get there so badly, he can make it. But he can't. The driver nods off, swerves into your lane, and so what happens to the human body during a collision? In the incident I just described, it's a very good possibility that an occupant in one of those vehicles would be ejected. 80% of ejected occupants of vehicles in 2015 did not survive. The reduced risk of fatality by people wearing their seatbelts was 60% in that same year. 80% dead, 60% alive. At one point or another, we all become a statistic of something. Some we have control over, others we don't. In the matter of our own safety in our vehicles, we do have some say in what statistic bucket we will fall into. I urge you, don't be part of that 80%. Be part of the 60%. Buckle up for safety. You have everything to lose.